Yo, everybody. Welcome back to some more, what do I call this again? Redstone Academy, that's right. Welcome. I've been sprucing the place up a bit, setting some stuff up, and I've set this up for today because today I want to go over the redstone torch. The redstone torch was, I think, the second thing added along with redstone. Funnily enough, we didn't even get like repeaters or anything when redstone came out. I think we had redstone dust and redstone torches, and that's not true. What else do we have? Oh, I guess we had like doors, and I believe we had pressure pads. I don't know if those came out at the same time or not, but that's besides the point. Anyway, I want to talk about the redstone torch. Now, as we talked about in the first episode, and if you didn't catch the first episode, I highly recommend watching it, because if you don't know what first degree and second degree power is, well, that is still coming in handy here, because you can see actually what is the redstone torch power. Well, the redstone torch powers the block directly above it, and that goes for the case of it being on the side too. It will only give first degree power to the block right above it. So, you know, that means this block can light up, this block can light up, whoops, this block, this block, this block, and this block. These are all the blocks that get second degree power from the block that is getting the primary power. Along with that, and I kind of spoiled it, is the parts right next to the torch. These actually only get second degree power. They don't get first degree power, as you can see right here. So that's a very interesting property of redstone torches, and I should mention that redstone torches actually do not power the block below them. They only power the block to the side and give primary power to the ones on top of them. So that's pretty cool. So what is a redstone torch good for? Well, actually, if you input redstone, if you put I can't even speak. If you put a redstone input into a block that the redstone torch is on, you actually invert all of the signals. So instead of having this lamp on while this is off, we can actually turn that light off. And this is also known as a NOT gate. There's a couple different gates that are in the game, and I'll go through them in their own selective episode, but this is actually just a very simple demonstration of what a NOT gate does. And you might have noticed, actually, is as we flip this switch, the lamp doesn't turn off instantly. That is because these redstone torches, when they invert either on or off, they invert at a 1 tick delay. And we're going to be talking about more about delays and ticks probably in the next episode when we talk about repeaters. But for now, to know about it is 1 tick is 1/20th of a second. So when I invert this signal, it's going to take 1/20th of a second to register to the torches, or I should say to the lamp. So what did torches allow us to do? Actually, well, this is a funny example. Back in the day when you ran out of power, we didn't have repeaters. So what we ended up doing was we tried to figure out our own way to connect the power, or to continue the power. So what we did was we would give this primary power to invert this torch, to turn this torch, to give this power to turn this one back on. And this is how we used to continue power. Nowadays, we just have repeaters, so it's kind of obsolete. We don't do that anymore, but I thought that might be a little fun demonstration of what we had to do before repeaters. So what's actually a really good use case for the torches? Well, a good use case, and actually I can show off the NOT gate for this, is having a door that's automatically closed. You know, instead of having this being on and trying to open the doors, we can actually just leave it off and the doors will stay closed even though the pistons are extended. And that is from this NOT gate right here. So this is the most basic NOT gate that you can have. And really, when we flip this switch, that inverts this torch, which turns all of these pistons off, allowing the doors to open. And similar case, when we turn the switch off, we turn this, then we turn the torch on, turning all the pistons on. So that's a very generic and very almost that's kind of what everyone does with these, really. You know, if you're not too used to redstone, this is a very practical way to make yourself a little doorway. And you could dress it up a little bit more. And of course, these blocks don't need to be wool, but yeah, you can make yourself a little doorway like that. What's another good use for redstone torches? Well, really easy way of transporting power upwards, actually. And I can show this, maybe take one more step back, where if I flip this lever, you can see that light turns on. That's because, of course, I'm, inverting this, which is turning this off. Or, I'm sorry. Yes, no, I'm inverting this, turning this off, which turns this, which turns this on, which turns this off, which turns this on, which powers the lamp. So, vice versa, powers on, powers off, powers on, powers off. Because the actual torches themselves are giving this primary power, which is causing this to invert in and on itself. What is a different use case? Well, back in the day, we actually didn't have pistons to be able to push power down like now we do. Back in the day, we actually would need to use this little system to transfer power down. Similar to how we transfer power up, we can do it in reverse. What we do is we have our torch here, which when it turns off, turns this off, which turns this on, turns this on, which turns this off, which turns this off, which turns this on, and turns this on. So, of course, nowadays we can use pistons to actually transfer power downwards, or even other means, but this used to be the old school way of transferring power down, or at least quickly transferring power down, or in a small space. Of course, it's not as small as just going upwards, but, I figured it's still interesting to kind of talk about these things. What is something important to know about redstone, actually? Well, redstone torches is, well, here's a funny conundrum, right? So I have a torch here, which powers this on, which if I place a piece of redstone here, the redstone will turn on, which will turn this block on, which will invert this torch, which means that this block will not be on, which means this redstone won't be on, which means this won't be on, and this torch inverts back onto on. I'm saying on too much, aren't I? Well, yeah, this is actually a funny little thing. If we put a torch here, I'll show you exactly what happens. They fizzle out. They go for a little while. They actually make a really fast clock, and then they just stop until you get rid of this torch. It's kind of fun to see, but there's really no practical use, not that I know, at least, for this, because you can't continuously have this keep going. But yeah, now we're actually down to my last case with torches, and like I showed you before, blocks that are adjacent to the torches will actually be powered on. So, the top gets primary power, but the sides all get secondary power. So, of course, this gets secondary power, and this does not. However, something kind of funny happens when we use pistons. Now, of course, yes, that'll turn on like it should. However, when I put a second piston down, I clearly demonstrated that when there was a lamp here, it did not turn on. However, with the piston, something a little bit funny happens. Both of these pistons fire. Now, What is this? I'm not exactly sure. I know it's called quasi-connectivity, but I don't know too much about it, so I can't get too in depth with it. But this is actually a pretty easy way to make doors too. We actually got some, whoops, sticky pistons. And yeah, sorry, mine are actually colored in a fun color, but there we go. And we'll just use red wool. So yeah, if we wanted to actually use these in a practical way, we can use them to open doors in a really quick and efficient manner. You know, whereas before I had to, you know, wrap this all around, I could just as easily just put a torch down, like right here. And through quasi-connectivity, would have been able to open these doors. But I didn't want to showcase that here, I wanted to showcase it here. This is a very interesting property of Redstone, and it's been in the game for as long as I can remember. It's been forever since it's been here, but I don't know if it's ever gonna change. But yeah, it's just so interesting that this piston will get powered, however the lamp won't. But yeah, no, lamps, I wanted to go in depth with redstone, but lamps aren't too, what's the word? They're not too much. They don't got too much going on to them. You know, their main purpose is to invert power. And then I suppose their second purpose, because you can do really cool things with quasi-connectivity, is, you know, allowing this to happen. But, yeah, for now, this is all I got for you guys. So thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I hope you continue to watch, because in the next episode, we're going to be talking about repeaters. And then soon after that, we're going to be talking about all different kinds of things. And actually, I can mention a few. You know, redstone torches are really good for pulse limiters, or your simple AND or NOT gates. And they have a couple different functionalities, like the quasi-connectivity. But, like I said, we're going to get all into all of that later. Those were just a couple examples that I'm going to showcase in the future. And I hope you guys really enjoyed. I enjoy making these, and I like people learning stuff. So, if I can teach you something new about redstone and maybe make you a little bit more familiar about it, I think I've done my job. But, yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode of Redstone Academy. Bye-bye!